everybody. I am calling the meeting to order. So I'm going to start with roll call. Steve Christensen. Mizan Rashid.
Running late would be my guess. He did tell me he would be here tonight.
Okay, should I write that down? Okay, Tim Hauser.
Here.
Swan Jacobson.
Here.
Welcome. Brooke Hansen.
Present.
Nick Garson is excused, absence, and Brian Lee.
Here.
Yay, and I am Christy Santo Domingo. All right, so we're gonna start with our land acknowledgement. So our land acknowledgement is a statement we read to recognize Indigenous peoples who are the original stewards of the lands on which we now live, work, and recreate. The city is a proud partner of the Snoqualmie tribe, and the commission feels it is important to recognize the history and connection tribes have always had to these lands. Therefore, we will now read our statement. We acknowledge that we are on the indigenous land of Coast Salish peoples who have reserved treaty rights to this land, specifically the Snoqualmie Indian tribe. We thank these caretakers of this land who have lived and continue to live here since time immemorial. All right, so now we're going to approve today's agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
Yay, thank you. Anyone opposed? All right, it's passed by common consent. All right. Next, we are going to approve last time's minutes. Is there a motion to approve the last time's minutes?
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
I motion to approve the last meeting's minutes.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Anyone opposed? Great, passed by common consent. All right. Okay, next. Okay, public comments. There's a 3-minute timer, and I saw Jan Bird is going to be doing public comment. Do we have a time? You're gonna time?
Yep.
Okay.
And Jen, feel free to do right from there if you want to step at the head of the table, wherever you're most comfortable. I'll just stand right here.
Anyway, I was reviewing the draft of the Sustainable Mammoth Guide, and lots of good stuff in there. Actually, the last one I still keep on the computer all the time, so it's a great publication. And my suggestion was under sustainable natural resources on page 6, why don't we also add for a hands-on opportunity certifying your backyard or this organization is a wildlife habitat with the National Wildlife Federation. And the reason why I'm suggesting that is because I'm one of the group of early stewards that we worked with our first volunteer coordinator, Don Sanders, to certify the city as a wildlife habitat. We started that in 2008. We try to encourage residents to certify homes, schools, businesses, places of worship. The city did most of their parks that would qualify. And so by March 2011, we had enough properties certified to be a community wildlife habitat. So next year is our 15th anniversary for the certification, and we still continue when we're at the farmer's market or Earth Day to encourage people to certify their backyard. And what we mean by that is we're providing on your property food, water, cover, a place to raise young, and use sustainable gardening practices. And the other thing that through the National Wildlife Federation they also have is native plant finder. So you enter in your zip code and it pops up a list of native plants. And they're also in order according to which attract the most butterflies and moths, because they need a place to host plants, just like our monarch butterflies need to have milkweed. We don't have milkweed in Western Washington except for Thurston County. So, but there's other butterflies and moths who need very specific plants. Some are generalists, but some of them have very specific plants. So anyway, I just gave you guys a sheet about the Community Wildlife Habitat Program, and thank you for considering my comments.
Thank you, Jen.
Is there anybody else?
I see nobody online.
We didn't have pre-registrations for tonight.
Okay, so next we're going to do introductions and welcome Swan. Welcome. So did you want, us to go around first and then?
Yeah, we'll keep it pretty brief, maybe just which area of the climate action plan is of most interest to you, or, you know, a personal anecdote or story about why sustainability matters to you, and then how long you've been on the commission and your name.
Okay, so I guess we'll go around like this, does that work?
Mm-hmm.
So hi, my name is Christy Santo Domingo, and I've been on the commission since, was it January or February when we first came on? And so I am a teacher. I teach at Pacific Cascade Middle School, and I am the Green Team Advisor. And so a big thing that matters a lot to me is, we did native plants. This year we planted a native plant garden as well as composting. So those are my two big things.
Okay, so I'm Brooke Hansen. I've been on the commission, started with Christy, I think in January, February, I don't know. February, our first meeting was February. And yeah, I'm interested mostly in the public transportation or reducing the vehicle miles, and also recycling, because I lived abroad for 20 years in different countries and I saw how they did it there. And I think maybe we can kind of take a page from that, even though right now our whole funding and our infrastructure is different, but we can inch closer to better practices. Also, I have two kids. One was born in another country and one of them was born here. And yeah, environment is obviously a big point for them. You know, Generation Alpha, they're growing up in it. Yep.
Hi, I'm Steve Christensen, and I was on January 24. Is that when we started? Yeah, in January.
February
24. I'm retired, and my big interest to being on this is reducing our greenhouse gases, and specifically with respect to home heating and buildings. I'm an advocate for all of us converting to heat pumps.
Hi, I'm Brian Lee. I think I've been on the board for like a couple months. I don't have like a specific date. My goal is that I'm a Sammamish Youth Board representative, so I share what is said in these meetings to the youth, and so anything that or any suggestions that they give, I try to use to implement. For example, there's an organization called the Sustainability Ambassadors, and so our team and their team are trying to work together to help promote sustainability.
Tim Hauser. I work for Worldwide Sustainability Technology at Amazon. And I am on the board because I am also highly interested in reducing greenhouse gases and doing what we can to make that happen.
Great, and then Swan, I've already introduced myself, but again, my name's Rose. We're really excited to have you on the commission. Thank you for volunteering your time and being a part of this group. Sustainability coordinator, been here for just over 2 years, 2.5 years in this role for about 2. And yeah, really excited. It's great to work with this group and hear from all of you. Rachel, do you want to quickly?
Swan,
Yeah.
we met the other day. It's nice to see you again. And I again want to thank you and all of you for serving in this important role. So we really appreciate it.
Oh, great.
So Mizan.
I was gonna say,
Interesting time.
Hey.
Hi, Ms. Odd.
Mizan, do you want to introduce yourself to the new?
Mizan Rashid, I am one of the sustainability committee member here. I live in Sammamish.
Great. Yeah, go ahead.
And then Swan, did you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I can do a brief intro just to make sure am I coming through at least somewhat clearly.
Yes.
All right, excellent, cool. Want to make sure I was using the right mic for this. Yes, hello, I am Swan. I don't know. Let's say I was living in Spanish for it's been just about 11 years at this point. Went to Tesla STEM High School and then DigiPen Institute of Technology, and I'm definitely interested in what I can do to support the climate with interest in action efforts at schools, because that was something I did in high school and I know how influential it can be, and then ways to promote more sustainable transit and traffic.
Great. Well, welcome. All right. So then today, if we move on to with our agenda, we are looking over the Sustainable Sammamish Guide. So Swan, do you have this at home?
I
Yes.
have a digital copy of, well, I definitely have a digital copy of the current draft. I don't think I pulled up a digital copy of last year's.
Okay. So
But I can
this
do it pretty
is,
quickly.
okay, so this guide is updated every year and it's sent to every single person in Sammamish, right?
It's sent to every home.
Every home. Every home in Sammamish. And so our job tonight is to look it over and look over, you already sent us some ideas, right?
Mhm.
But it's to give input on changes we want this will be finalized, I believe it was in August?
Yeah.
To be sent out by the fall,
Yes.
so it's soon.
But the deadline for changes is what, the 16th, is that right?
Yeah, she's soon.
Yeah, so there will be 2 opportunities to review the drafts. This is in the agenda packet as well, and Christine got it right here for you. But there will be an initial opportunity to review this first draft, which is what's sitting in front of you today. We'd like all feedback and comments provided by July 16th at 4 p.m. That gives me a chance to consolidate, turn it around, and give it to our graphic designer. And then you will have a chance to review draft version 2 from July 24th through August 4th. And that will be the version that looks a lot more similar to this guide. So it won't just be a Word format, it'll be more PDF. And that'll be the final opportunity to review. And then on the 14th is when the hard stop final copy will be sent for print. So we're looking for all comments back from you all the 16th, and then the second round will be by August 4th. And I'll send multiple email reminders and information as the weeks go on.
And just a reminder, we don't meet in August, right? So this
Yes.
is the only time we're meeting in person, to look over this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, can I ask one question
Mhm.
to Rose? Yep, you got my,
I did, yes. Yeah.
so, I don't know if it is the right time, but just when I was reviewing it, I just thought that, this is for the people of Sammamish, like, as a resident, what we can do. But where is the information of as a city, what we can do as a city government? There is huge role that city government can play. Almost more than 50% of reduction that greenhouse gas reduction that city can do through policies and approaches. Where is that part?
So more information on what the city is doing is available on the city website, and we also post regularly to social media and in the city newsletter each month. This is really meant to be a tool for residents.
Okay,
So we can definitely discuss adding, a
A
little
summary.
half page or
Summary,
something
something
like that, but this is really meant to be what residents can do, and then we can link to city resources and the city website if they're curious about what the city is doing.
yeah, no, I think one of my requests will be to consider giving a summary here
Okay.
that what is city is doing. Like say for any new development, if you do the LEEDs certification, it will be like energy efficient, it will be everything. You can do electrification, you can do all these things you can implement right from the beginning for any development. If we do that as a policy.
So the city actually does not have the ability to regulate development in that way. I'm happy to send you some resources after the meeting today. This has come up a couple times within the first year of the commission. There's a couple question and answers that I can just forward along that I think will address your questions. And this was also a discussion with council as well when we were first creating the climate action plan. The city is ultimately under the state's building and energy codes. And so we're not able to require these additional things from private residences. What we are doing is in the town center with some of our more major developments, trying to incentivize green building, but there's only certain levels that you can actually require. So I'll follow up with some more information for you specifically, and then I'll include that in September's question and answer
you.
as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just want to make sure we have enough time for this.
No, thank you.
Great.
Yeah,
Great
I don't want to
question.
take any more time.
Yeah, thank you for asking.
Okay, and just from my initial observation before we start, it looks like based on what it was in 2024 to what you just sent us, you're trying to cut down on the wording.
Yes.
That's a major goal. So the goals for this one was to cut down on some of the words, right? And then what other big goals did you have when you were looking at it?
So part of it is, my vision, but a lot of this is really what you all have as your vision and priority. Some initial thoughts that I have is, trying to make it a little bit more interactive, user friendly, appeal to children, and just be a little bit more visually engaging. I think the initial version as it stands is incredibly informative, but is very text heavy. And recognizing that we have so many youth and families in the community, I think we just really want to make it a little bit more, for lack of a better word, fun. So, what we've tried to do with this initial draft for version 1 of the 2025 guide is really consolidate all of the text into just some simple actions. And then that will leave space, because ultimately this is a 12-page document. We don't want to make it too much longer than that. To clear some page space for the bus bingo, for example, for a letter from the commissioners to the community, whatever you all feel would be most impactful. So we're just trying to clear up some space for you all to create.
Did we get any feedback from non-commissioner residents on this specifically?
Yeah, I would say generally what I heard is kind of what I've just mentioned, is that it's just a lot of text, and the people who are using it regularly really appreciate that and enjoy that, and we'll still have versions of this guide available online. So that would be the main thing, is just that it's a lot of text. Not everyone has the time or energy, and they really want it to be a little bit more engaging.
Sure.
But otherwise, it's mostly been like all positive feedback. Folks are really happy.
Maybe somebody would do, like text like this, you have a little narrative here about utilizing natural vegetation, ventilation. Do bullet points.
Yeah.
Instead of.
Yeah, I was wondering, do we want to go, was the strategy to go page by page?
That was my thought, was to
Okay.
go section by
Section by
section.
section,
Yeah, so kind of start talking about buildings and
Okay.
energy, transportation, and since those are kind of the big meat and potatoes of our greenhouse gas emissions reduction, I anticipate those will take a little bit more time, and then we'll move through the other sections as well.
Okay, so I was just gonna start off with like the title page.
Yeah.
So I actually do have a question. Are we gonna change the graphics for this next year?
Yes, so this
picture?
is, everything is up for editing. So whatever recommendations or suggestions you have, I'm not gonna promise that we'll get them in there.
These pictures from last time?
Yeah.
Do we have a photographer, or do we where they come from?
Most of these pictures are from the city's urban forestry contest that happened 3 or 4 years ago. And then some are also just from city staff, photos that have been submitted by residents for other purposes. These are all internal images that we
Okay,
had.
so-
So they're stock images that I pulled off of the internet.
Okay, so we can switch them out.
Yes, these can all.
But
be
we're
switched.
not choosing the photos.
If you
No,
you're
we're
not
just
choosing.
doing context.
No, I know, but it would be good,
Content.
like if you just changed up some of the different guys.
Exactly. And if you have major suggestions like, hey, we really would like the title page to be a photo of the commissioners. I think that's the question. But
Swan has their hand up
yes,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have something?
Not so specific for this, just more like once we start going through the sections, just like some comments for like some of the stuff before the sections, and then I have some notes for each of the sections to go over.
Okay, so with the first, so when I looked at this, I'm a teacher. So I always think of everything in terms of like kids and family, and being at 4th of July, it was, how many people went to that?
It's about 10,000 is what we.
Kids, 10,000, like high schoolers. I mean, it was me and the high schoolers, I felt, but I'm sure there was other people there. But there's lots and lots of families, and so I think of Sammamish as so family. So when I looked at this, I'm like, this is not very kid friendly, family friendly. It's very educational in terms of like, here's what to do. So anyway, when I first see this title page, my first thought is, I don't know even if we can change this, but instead of Sammamish's official guide to sustainability, can it be something like easy steps you can take today for a more sustainable Sammamish? You can have my little markup.
Yeah.
But I don't, just even that, like a more welcoming thing.
Call to action.
Yeah, like a call to action,
Yeah.
easy steps. Anyone have any thoughts on the title page?
I think you'll have a better idea because we work so closely with the So this is for mom and dad right now. So if you want to make it for the, I think it is good that if you can make it for the children, I think that will be very, we hit the home run.
Yeah,
If we can make it appealing to them.
yeah. The children are all ages though, right? So
Yeah,
it's
all
like how to
ages.
make it high school-y and also little kiddish.
Well,
That'd be a challenge.
it's already official, because you got
Yeah.
the city logo,
Mhm.
so this is almost redundant.
Yeah, I agree.
Folks prefer to take out that line or rework it, and we can go over it on version 2.
I think having some sort of tagline there makes sense. And I think just to build off of the other idea, like maybe something along the lines of like easy and advanced ways to improve your sustainability, because not all of the suggestions are easy things to do. But that way it's like, here, this will include some quick things to do. And if you want to be more involved or go deeper into it, this will also include some more advanced things.
That's true. Or like instead of just saying easy, you could just say steps you can take.
Or
today.
easy steps you can take to sustainability or something.
Yeah, like steps you can take
Or
today
steps you can take.
for a more
Yeah, I wouldn't
sustainable.
use the word easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steps.
You're gonna ask them in here, or at least imply, they need to go spend thousands of dollars to buy electric vehicles and heat.
But some are easy steps. Not all of them are.
Okay.
Okay, and then the second page is a lot of words.
So let's actually, if you guys don't mind, let's go based on these Word docs that we've got in front of you. Just because I've already done some of the truncating of the words. So we're really trying to work off the content that's already been scrubbed, if you will.
Oh,
I
so
just-
here's your bullet points.
Yeah, so just to keep things moving along, since we do have a lot of sections to cover, this introduction page, this would be a great example for each of you to mark up the document that I sent you online and then send me back the version with any word editing, content suggestions for this first page, because it's really text heavy. I'll do my best to kind of pull in each of the different suggestions and come up with that newer draft. What we're really trying to focus on today is the empty space that we'll have for each of these sections and how to fill it.
Yeah, I was looking for an editable version, and like you said, the other one was like an email document, and then I saw a PDF, but I didn't see. Did anybody else try to
There's
get?
a Word document.
Is there a Word document?
Yeah.
Somehow I didn't get that one, but I'll just have to look again.
I could not get the Word document.
I didn't see it.
I cannot
on
get
my
any
iPad,
attachment
no.
in the iPad.
Well, I got the attachments, but I didn't get anything editable. Like
Yeah, so
Interesting. Okay.
that
I was
my-
gonna say, because I did
challenge.
receive versions back from both of you
So
for the
they
Word.
must
I
have,
did from my,
Oh, this is the
not,
Word doc.
not from my Sound.
From your iPad.
that must have been. I must have just. Yeah, I must need to use it on a different device.
Has that been a problem with council for?
I think the iPad makes it sometimes hard to find attachments, so let's look after the meeting and see if it's there.
Yeah, I was thinking I show it to Rose after meeting,
Yeah,
because I forwarded that to my iPad. And so from iPad, I thought I will use my Samamish account and send to you,
I see.
because I did not want to send from my work or personal, because you know that, like if
That's
there is there is a preference that we use
Yep.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, we can discuss it after that.
Okay, I'll take a look and see if we can troubleshoot the iPads. I apologize, I did not realize that was gonna be an issue. So we'll get that resolved and you'll still have an opportunity to provide
Is
review, even if
Word
it's,
installed on these machines?
None.
No, in that case, you cannot
Not
edit that
naturally.
document there.
I would think that it would.
No, there is no word.
No word?
No.
No, there's no word.
No,
Yeah,
Apple does not
I'm
write
not
word.
seeing-
Right, we will troubleshoot at the end. For now, today, we've got the physical copies in front of you.
Can you you have Word on that?
Yeah, I can.
why don't
So you
we
could open
put it
it.
onto
Oh, yeah,
SharePoint,
yeah.
because
That's what I
everybody
work
can
on.
access SharePoint from their iPad,
Okay,
and it's editable from there, from the browser.
okay. All right, I will set up a SharePoint link and I will send that up as a follow-up to today's meeting. And I will still take the comments that have been emailed and work that in there as well.
So are you hoping then we're talking about it, but also you want it emailed?
If you have anything that you feel is not captured in today and you have we're really not trying to nitpick the wording today.
Okay.
So if you want to nitpick the sorry, not nitpick. If you would like any edits, if you want to suggest any edits to any of the text as it stands, I would prefer that to be emailed to me so that I can kind of make a conglomeration of all of you.
But if we do it over SharePoint, everybody can be in the same.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
think that will, I was thinking about that, Rose, that will make your life so easy.
Yeah.
We'll save
Because
you
it-
a lot of work.
Okay.
If 6 or 7 or 8 of us send you different 8 versions, it will be difficult for you to, you will do it, but it will be difficult for you to merge it together.
Yeah.
Plus, we can see each other comments too.
Mhm.
That way, we can just see that whether that comment fits with that thing or not. I think that will be a very good idea to do a SharePoint, give us the link, and everybody can put their comments there. And
And we'll just leave it on track changes. That way
Yeah, yeah,
everybody
yeah,
can
Yes,
see.
yeah.
that's the way we do it when we, do a shared
Yeah.
review.
That sounds great. So just to reiterate, I will send out that link. I'll get that set up. That is mostly for editing text. Today, we're trying to figure out how to fill those extra pages. So the way that the guide is set up currently, if you look, so I'm going to try to hold this up so you can see. So you've got the guide here.
I have it pulled up on my end.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So the idea is you've got a page for, let me see if I've got a good one here. So one page for sustainable solid waste, for example, and that would be the text with the bullets. And then you would have a full page, so 2 pages for each topic. You get 1 page with the text and information, and 1 page that is basically choose your own adventure. By choose your own adventure, I mean the commission can make recommendations on what you would like to see on that page. So for example, transportation. Here are all the transportation options. Here's how you can be more transportation friendly. Here's how you can be sustainable, bike, walk, carpool. By the way, here's all the bus routes in the city. Or by the way, here's a bus bingo. Or hey, have you heard about the youth transit pass that is free for youth under 18?
So you want more of this supplemental content?
Yes.
You don't want us to change this?
I do want feedback on that, but the objective of today's exercise as a commission is to make a decision on what the extra pages should.
Yeah, I realized that after reviewing the document that framework is done. Framework is done, basic thing is done. We need to do the supplement.
Yeah, I looked at both actually.
That's fine. And we definitely are welcoming comments on the text too, but today's workshop is meant to focus on the additional content. And Swan, I see you have your hand raised.
Yeah, the main thing that I was looking at as I was going through this, the notes that I had is for which of these action items I feel would benefit the most from having some amount of supplemental information, like either additional steps to take or resources for where to find them. Would that be a helpful thing to go over right now?
Yeah, I think that's a great way to frame it.
Okay.
And I've
then
also, go ahead.
Okay, because I can go through the list I had for this first page, or if there's anything else you wanted to say first.
Sure, that sounds great. I was just going to share that there are some suggestions for supplemental content for each section, but those are not, it's not limited to that. Those are not requirements. It's just some initial brainstorming that I did to kind of start the conversation. So yeah, Swan, take it away.
Yeah, the main things that I had so this is for section 1, sustainable buildings and energy, that I feel would probably benefit the most from having some amount of supplemental information would be natural ventilation, and then alongside that, like ceiling, door, and window drafts. Just what does that actually mean? What are the ways to do that? That work well. Could even make a little game worksheet out of ceiling, door, and window drafts for kids to do. Potentially more information for the thermostat settings, like why a given degree, when to change it, when to turn it off. Some sort of either information or a link for that would probably be helpful. And then for just a note that I had for power sources is because I want a full conversion to solar isn't something that someone could necessarily do as a renter, but there are smaller scale solar conversions. You can get a solar panel. We don't have the best lighting here, but you could still get a portable solar panel and set that up to potentially power things. And so that could be an option for people to look into as well.
One of the things I read through here that I'm just now noticing, because I've read this a few times, in vehicles and buildings, the elephant in the room is electric vehicles and heat pumps. And if I'm looking at sustainable buildings and energy, I have to get off the first page and over here. It's almost a, oh, by the way statement. I think that needs to be one of the first things you say. Because turning down your thermostat, turning out lights as you leave the room, unplugging your, it's gonna save milliwatts.
Yeah.
The biggie is getting off of natural gas.
Okay. So go,
Also reminds me, up here in the introduction, I think we need another, you've got a fantastic, but it doesn't tell you what you've got to do. It's like the real estate mantra, you know, location, location, patient. It's electrify, electrify, electrify.
Yeah, we are glad that our electricity come from hydro. Mostly it is renewable, but in many rest of the country, many of the places it is gas fired. In that case, electrification is not the answer, but here it is the answer. Because our electricity is clean.
Well, not yet. It will be in 5 years. Puget Sound Energy will be carbon neutral in 2030.
Yeah, they are one of the advanced organization in the country in terms of clean energy. So
Puget Sound Energy,
yeah, they are.
their carbon footprint right now is about 0.4 of a megaton or a metric ton per megawatt hour. So they're not very clean right now. Compared to the Seattle City Light, they're still really dirty.
Yeah, City Light also has the hydro. They have their power come from hydro. So
They own
PSP
7
has their
dams.
mix of they are doing pure wind. They're trying.
My issue, oh, go ahead.
No, I had another point here. I'm not sure we fully covered. We talked about ceiling door and window drafts, but I'm not sure we said anything just about insulation. Like I would say insulation, windows, because your windows, not just the window drafts, but the windows. Insulation, windows, and green roofing when you're renovating. Those are topics that I don't see here.
I think Swan also mentioned those.
Yeah, it's similar.
I had confusion because some of them didn't fall in my mind in the right categories.
we
So
can totally take a look at that too.
just do that online. You want me to email that?
Or today, if you have quick comments,
the
but
first one would be like energy I thought it looked better like something like energy efficiency, appliance and equipment choices, and clean energy. Because some of these, like you say, unplug electronics as under appliance conversion. I was like, what? That doesn't seem like that. Turn off the lights isn't really appliance conversion unless I'm missing something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
what
just
were the
like,
3 categories?
I just had energy efficiency, appliance and equipment choices or something like that, and
So
clean
you wanna-
energy.
You would like a general category?
Well, just like appliance conversion to me means like looking for the eco labels, install smart thermostats, but not really turning off the lights.
Yeah.
You know, I just I don't know, I was having a problem with that.
Okay.
And then when you have ranking these, what I circled eco labels, like do you on the supplemental stuff, would that be a picture? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so my thought with eco labels is just show some common eco labels and kind of give a brief description of what they are.
I think that's good. I wrote that as number 1.
Okay. So I'm hearing natural ventilation, ceiling doors and window drafts, and eco labels as some of the initial suggestions from the group. We'd like to narrow that down to like maybe 2.
Oh, I was just thinking that like for easy steps like just unplugging your wires, those texts could be smaller, and then we could have like a section of all the easy things, because I'm pretty sure adults know all these things about like just plugging or turning off lights. So just having the easy stuff first, and then having a section for the adults to get better info. There's a section for kids, which is the short text part, and then longer text for the adults.
I would reverse that. I'd make the short text for the adults. Buy a heat pump, and then you can go to longer text. Because I'd put 3 of these little green marks by the heat pump. You can do all of this stuff, but if you don't do the heat pump, you haven't done anything.
See, I took it the kid part at the end where the kids can become an all-star. The kids can become a Sammamish sustainability all-star or superhero,
There you go.
where then they go back and the kids can be a lightsaber hero by turning off lights when they leave a room. They can take a 5-minute shower. They can be an energy detective and unplug stuff. They could be a food waste fighter and finish off food and compost scraps. They could walk or roll, walk, bike, or scooter, or they could have a bonus mission where they actually draw themselves as a sustainability all-star. So I was thinking like that, not making the text for kids because they look at this with their parents anyway. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think they'd look at it on their own?
I mean, we talked about like reducing the words, so just reducing it for things we don't need. So
Yeah.
I
What
like your
picture
suggestion.
on the front
Give
of
them a
the
mission.
tract?
Maybe
Maybe that's what we need.
What was that?
What
Put a picture on the front that's gonna attract the kid.
like maybe for the cover like families together, and for the title like sustainability for Sammamish, like for the families, because as she said, like there's a lot of family tied to this.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to just remember that this guide is meant for the entire community. We do have a lot of families in our community, but we do want to make sure we're using general enough verbiage to make it inclusive to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to focus back in. So looking at the guide, maybe another good way to think about this is if you look at the very front of this page that I gave you today, we've got each section. So the pages that we are looking to fill are pages 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. So you have 5 open pages. That leaves about 1 open page for each section. And we'd really like to narrow in on what you all would recommend for buildings and energy in terms of supplemental diagrams or engaging content.
We've talked a lot in the past about having like an interview or a statement from like one of us that have done something.
Mhm.
Like I know Steve is recently just converted to a heat pump,
Mhm.
like, and is obviously very passionate about them. Maybe we put something. Maybe Steve provides a photo of like, since my heat pump, I've seen this reduction in my energy bill, and it wasn't, like how like people think heat pumps are cold, I think, or something like feedback I've heard. Like maybe like when I ran in the winter, it wasn't cold air blowing out that was just 70 degrees warmer, but it actually warmed my house and it felt good. I'd be happy to provide like transportation, right? I have 2 EVs. We don't have a gas car. We still survive and drive to California and do these things that people generally get afraid of. Like think about it, like I'm not going to do it. I can't get to like. Yes, you can. Right? And we can, if someone's willing to sign up, like passionate about waste or water, we can. A quote from one of us be like, we are just normal people like you, and we've transitioned or whatever.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, testimonials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a picture, yeah.
With a picture would be
I can
even
take a
better.
picture of my Rivian.
You were next to the Rivian with a van approach.
I could stand in my backyard with 2 heat pumps.
That's right. But I think if, like I said, I'll take transportation and write a quote. It's great. Like, and to hear from all of us, not just because I can do buildings energy too and talk about the induction stove that I have. That's not as impactful as the heat pump, but nobody wants to hear from me every time.
Well, and ultimately, there's more commissioners than there are sections. Maybe we could do 1 to 2 quotes per
Sure,
section.
yeah, that's fine.
Cool. Maybe we can do a quick round robin, and you all can say which section you'd like, and then I can follow up with you individually.
And
No pressure to have your quote today, but
we're happy to help draft quotes too.
Yeah.
So first of all, and second of all, I think I really personally like this idea. We've talked before about how the city can only do so much, right? And most residents aren't going to. Rose knocking on doors and saying, "Please do this," is not at all impactful as you all saying, "Hey neighbor," right? And so I might suggest going this route, a little sort of meta tweak to the whole thing, which is really, this is brought to you by the Sustainability Commission because we care about this community, right? I think that can bring in some of the kid, fun stuff too. We can figure out how to do that as well. But this is really sort of a sustainability love letter from all of you to the rest of the city saying, join us in this effort because we love this community so much. Help us, you know. So
Good.
Sound great.
Also up for the first, you can put me down for 1 and 2.
Okay,
That's-
this is just initial. I'll do some shuffling of this. So Tim, you're interested in 1 and 2.
Yep.
Who else?
1 and 2 of what?
On
1
the-
and 2.
On the front page, on the introduction, there's
Just
the,
which
you have a header of like
topics.
which topics we were to provide a quote on.
Everybody
Maybe
would
buildings,
pick, everybody
transportation,
pick 2.
natural resources, water and waste.
I would be more than happy to do it.
What about a second one, Steve? Just so we get everybody to do
My
2.
second one would probably be transportation. I'm not all electric, but I am a plug-in hybrid.
Okay.
I don't know, I could do natural resources because I'm gardening a lot and I got these native plants and I try to, yeah, I mean, I'm renting, but I've been working on that yard front and back for 3 years. So planting, like thinking about what kind of plants, such. I could do that.
Okay, great. Is there a second one that you'd be open to? It can be one of the ones that's already been set to.
I mean, mine aren't as good. I mean, I also have an induction stove and I bought a new car recently and it's a hybrid, but that's not a fully electric one. So, I don't have an idea at the moment. Let me see.
I can do 3, 4, or 5, whatever one you would need.
Swan, how about you?
I can do 3 or 5.
I could do 5 as a second one because I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything about this, but I use a lot of the gifting and groups and things instead of throwing things out. I get stuff and I give stuff tons.
Why wouldn't you be allowed to talk about that?
Well, because it's not like official, you know, but it's
No,
just I
that's the
use.
reuse.
That's it, yeah.
Man,
Oh,
swap
that's
groups
great.
are huge.
Right, yeah.
I use all and sign up for like 3 or 4 gifting groups and yeah, I give stuff away constantly. And last week I got a little tower for like a toddler to stand in your kitchen. I got that from somebody. Yeah, and I'm gonna pass it on when I'm done with it.
That's great.
That's a great, yeah.
Yeah, we've got grandkids that probably the 3rd or 4th grandkid is on some of the baby clothes.
Yeah, that's great.
What about you, Brian and Mizan?
So yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I would be with anyone because maybe like 1 and 2.
So the idea is that we have quotes in that area.
Yeah, like a personal quote or story or
So
call to
how-
action.
How we are going to accommodate 2 quotes from everybody, like give the full of quotes only.
There'll probably be little call outs
We'll be selecting
with
it
the
on-
graphic designer.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll work
Well,
with each of you
Give you
individually.
an example. Mine would be, I would start off by saying I was involved with the city's attempt to form a climate action plan. I got on the committee and they convinced me, or I felt compelled to invest in a heat pump, and now I've got one, and blah, blah, blah. You know, it's reduced my carbon footprint by so many tons a month.
And I,
Yes.
yeah, I would say, can I give mine? I would say something like, because it goes with Jan, that I pulled out all my ivy in my backyard, which is an invasive plant, and it's taken so hard muscle, and planted all these native plants now that I got from Jan's native plant sale at Bellevue Botanical Gardens. So, yes, that's an example of what I would say.
Yeah, so I drive my EV to San Francisco.
Yeah.
Twice a year and drop my daughter and stuff. So I can talk about the EVs if need be, and you can drive long distance and things like that. For that, and then waste I can do water or waste, which I'm doing it like composting. So I realize that you can reduce your garbage by 50%.
Okay.
Because most of the things that we put in the garbage, it could be compost. If it is not plastic, if it is not lot of the vegetables and things like that, you know, and the skins of different things, something like this, everything can go there. Including the eggshells, you know. So yeah, so that's I can probably put some thought on some from my own experience.
Great. Well, I will follow up with all of you individually on that, and we'll make sure that's included for draft version 2.
Do you need pictures from us?
If you have
Of
pictures,
our yard or our
whatever,
or our whatever.
whatever photos you all have and want to send, even if you have, you know, more professional looking photos, whatever, I will work with our communications manager and graphic designer to slot them in where they could be.
I would suggest headshots are gonna come across on this better than, you know, just because they're gonna be small, right?
Oh,
So
I see.
we're not gonna necessarily be able to see you in the garden if it's that kind of a photo. So, it just.
No, not of us, but just of something that we're.
But I think if it's gonna be this testimonial,
Oh, you
right?
need to be a person.
Having it be a person, so then you
Okay,
can say,
yeah,
oh,
could
I
be.
run into that person at Trader Joe's all the time, or whatever place you frequent.
Okay. Great.
I think another thing that would be cool if you're still looking for supplemental.
I'm looking to really narrow down, so
Okay,
if
so
you have
just
one,
one.
but if you have a new suggestion that
Oh,
the
okay.
commission wants to run with, that's great. I'd like to narrow it down to like maybe 2 suggestions for each section, and then we'll see what we can fit in.
Okay. Did anybody else have one since I already gave one?
Your section on solar panels, and you remark here about HOA. HOAs are not allowed to prohibit a homeowner from getting solar panels on the roof. They can levy certain requirements, and they're specified in the state law. But state law says you gotta let them do it. You can tell them it has to be done. It's not, you can't do a DIY install, but so you might quote the RCW.
Okay, I will say, Steve, if you're actually looking at this version, we already took the HOA out.
Okay,
So this version doesn't have any of that supplemental text.
okay, but I mean, that has been, every time I've talked to somebody about home solar,
Maybe add a little.
they say, well, my HOA won't allow that. I mean, that's almost a given response to it. So I think it's important maybe to let them know that HOAs don't have that power over you.
Okay.
If you want to do it, you can. They can tell you how to do it, but they can't tell you no.
Okay.
You want to know the RCW number?
If you have it, that would make my life easier.
You knew I had it. 64.38.055.
I'll read that back to you. 64.38.055.
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
So, Rose, I have one question that at one point you were saying that transportation is responsible for 14% of the greenhouse gas.
That's
In the
correct.
city. What is the rest of it? Can you have a distribution of like what action causes like what percentage of?
So
That way, we can understand that how we can impact.
at a high level, we do have that information in the climate action plan. It's really hard to quantify the exact emission reduction from each of those actions because it depends how big your home is, what kind of car you're driving, how far you're driving, how often you drive. So we definitely have that information already in the climate action plan. I think we could look at adding maybe a call out box or something like that.
Something will be helpful because that way, like young people like Brian and the other people, they can also see that how their action is.
Maybe a little pie chart.
Yeah, because
Something like
if
that.
you're saying that by 2030 we are reducing 50%, and we can have a base that what are those actions and how we are saying we will reduce 50% if you do not know what is 50%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that all is in the climate action plan. So I think part of this guide also is helping direct folks towards that really in-depth document. This is really kind of keeping it up a little bit higher, but absolutely something we can look at adding some kind of little graphic or
Some
brief
kind of,
explainer to the
Maybe
introduction.
a link to how we're doing on the goals of the climate action plan.
Yes, we have to remember this will be emailed out, or sorry, this will be mailed.
Yeah.
This will be mailed out.
Okay.
It will also be available on the city website. So the PDF version, if you all have seen, there's a PDF version of this online with a ton of like active links on there that you can click and it'll redirect you to additional resources. So we can definitely link back on the PDF.
Yeah, for the supplemental content in buildings and energy, that calculator, I was wondering how you think that would work on a piece of paper.
So we do actually have also in the climate action plan, there is a worksheet half page that allows you to, if you have your like energy bill or it allows you to do the math by hand. So again, these are not like.
Totally, when I read that, I was surprised because I know you talk about mail being like way people consume information from the city in this city.
That would be by hand.
Which blows my mind every time you tell me. But yeah, so I was curious about that. But I think that's this for when building, one of the things that always stands out to me is how all of these things actually save you money over time. So it is those win-wins. There are certainly heavy investments up front. Migrating to a heat pump is not cheap, even if you're not doing a bunch of HVACing your house. But having those things like the average person saves this much over a lifetime for doing this thing would be, I think, really good supplemental information for these bigger ticket items.
Okay. Any other strong opinions, suggestions, feedback on anything that's already here or new suggestions? It seems like we've narrowed it down to about 4. We'd like to get it down to 2.
We have 4.
So the 4 that I've heard mentioned from this first section on buildings and energy is we could have a diagram about natural ventilation. We could have instructions or a diagram about how to seal drafts. We could do a money savings kind of breakdown or example self-calculator. I will workshop that.
Yep.
And the other one was heat pumps, was having some kind of heat pump diagram or information, because you said that was the number one thing. So those are the 4 I'm hearing.
Yep.
How are folks feeling about those 4? And are there some that we feel more strongly about?
I think heat pump stays.
I would go with heat pump in the calculator.
Same. I think money drives everything. So having something up there like this is how much you'll save by doing these things on average is hugely important.
A point you can make though about heat pumps is you don't need to run out and buy one tomorrow. And I tried to make this point before. The resolution goes out another 25 years. You buy the heat pump when the gas furnace you're using now dies. You know, they have what, 10, 15-year life? So at some point, you're gonna be thinking, oh boy, that thing's, I better replace it. Instead of just replacing the gas furnace, now you go with the heat pump. And yeah, it's gonna cost a couple $1,000s more, but it's gonna dramatically reduce your carbon footprint. So I don't know how we get that message across, that they don't need to buy it now, just at the appropriate time out there in the future. That's tomorrow, fine.
I think we could add a sentence or 2 under the diagram, like a little image caption or something like that.
Yeah, I know, Rose, that you cannot have more than 2, but the idea of, reducing the draft, the windows and the door is and if the resident can do it, but easily, I think that is something, let's consider putting that information in some kind of call out boxes or somehow to communicate that.
Okay, I think it's helpful to have at least one backup if for some reason we have extra room or one or the other of the initial 2 is not working. So great. Heat pump diagram, money savings calculator, and looking at a potential diagram for draft sealing. Great. How are folks feeling about that?
Not necessarily diagram, it could be some kind of
Instruction.
instructions, some
Yeah.
bullet points and things like that.
Swan saying this up.
Swan?
Just a quick like add on to that the of those 3 things, the like drafts, that feels like probably the most likely to be something that could be turned into something more targeted at kids, like for them, like to be for that as a resource for them. So if that's something we want to make sure to be including with this, that could be a good, even if it is just like a small like cutaway box, that could be a good way to include that sort of targeted information.
If each of the ones had a strategy that was more focused on kids and then to the end, right, with your, you make it a game, what did you do with strategy 1, strategy 2, right? That could be your way to.
Yeah, a hunt for the detective who finds the air coming through the door.
Right.
You saw the kids walk around.
That
the
was
wall,
one
it's
of them,
a-
actually.
It's a treasure hunt through your house to
Yes,
find,
it is.
to find where your drafts are. And
Yeah,
then make your parents go fix
that
it.
was one. I don't think. I
But then
put
it
in
could culminate with,
the draft finder.
you do each, there's 5 strategies that kids can do. Record your strategy.
I think that's really
Share it online, tag us on all the
Mhm.
socials.
And maybe I'll work with the graphic designer on this, but what I'm hearing also is if we're wanting to separate it into easy and hard actions for each category, maybe we also have the easy and hard kind of diagram supplemental content. So the harder content would be a heat pump. The easier content would be sealing or things.
Yeah.
We'll play with it.
Play with
but
it. Yeah. But I
um,
like Juan's idea. Like, here are things you should do, and then the kid activity is,
I think that's great.
I
Yeah.
don't know, better than like the highlights magazine, how they present things, like little box over here, like go do this with your parents right now. To get people involved.
Yeah.
Cool. On to transportation.
Okay, so sustainable transportation, so this is page 10, but so number 2. Well,
Of the
I
agenda.
printed the whole thing.
Oh.
So does anybody have any thoughts? I personally, I really think there should be a map of route. You're saying, it says Route 269 and I-50 or 554 or whatever, 554. And I don't know what that is, so I would like for me, I think we should include maps where those are. Yeah, I agree.
Can you not disagree with you, but can you remind me the miles traveled? Like when I drive into Seattle every day for work, it's my miles from my home to the edge of the city, and then nothing else counts.
That's how it's
Is that right?
counted, yeah.
That's how it's calculated, right?
Yeah.
In poor old Medina gets all the 520 traffic.
Their carbon footprint must be off the chart.
Mercer Island gets the I-97. Yeah.
So it's not from door to door.
No,
It's not door to door.
that's not how they do it.
Door to the edge of the city.
It's only the miles you drove within the
So like
city.
whatever the driven distance in the within the city. And not outside the city.
Yeah.
So
Which is part of the
if
reason.
we all parked our cars in the city limits and walked,
I yeah. Thank you.
So are we doing the same thing here with the supplemental content and of this list here, just picking 2 things? And to agree on 2 things that we would highlight?
That would be, yes, that would be my preference, but also it doesn't have to just be from this list. This is also a time for brainstorming and suggestions. I think there have been some really great recommendations already this evening, so if you have other ideas for supplemental content, now is the
Well,
time.
I had an idea, but I don't know if it's gonna end up being a top idea, but I was missing some information about bike infrastructure, like so where the bike paths and
Yeah.
where are like bike parking opportunities.
It's there. We had this map 2 months ago or whatever, right? Didn't they look? We should have the map concept.
Yeah.
We should have that. Like, here are the ways to get around the city that are not biking down 228, which is scary, which understandably is scary. Like, we've seen it. We should put that map in. I'm with you.
I
That's
think
top
we're still
idea.
developing that though, right? Oh,
Yeah.
Swan.
Yeah, that's the main thing is I think like having maps for the ways to get around, because one of the main things like 220 in particular is very much an obstacle to anything other than driving because it's a big hill. It's very much an obstacle to walking or biking or anything like that. And so letting people know the alternate ways to get across the city, whether that is the bus lines or bike trails or foot trails, I think that would be a really good supplemental resource for this. In particular with the town center development that's occurring.
Another idea with that sort of map concept is like, how far is it from place to place?
Mm.
And like, could you put like an average? Like, it takes an on average, 5 minutes to walk from place A to place B, because it can all feel really far, and in your car you're like, yeah, it goes so fast. But if it's only a 10-minute walk, maybe I'm more willing to walk from my house to Safeway. If someone told me that it was only 10 minutes.
So you want one of those maps that Rick Steves puts out of a country?
Yes,
where-
That's what I want.
Yeah, okay.
I want a hand-drawn map, just like Rick Stevens, with little dotted trails.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. I'm a huge Rick Steves fan. But yes, I don't know. Just another idea. Like, I feel like Safeway's far, but I don't think it's really that far. And you don't know where I live, but
I will see what I can do in terms of my map creation / existing overlay GIS skills and
Just
see
ask
if we
AI.
can do. Yeah, so my thought for this, what I'm hearing is we'll integrate a couple of these different things, including maybe we include an overlay of the Metroflex service area, and we'll take a full page
Yeah.
next to transportation to have a map of the city. I will do my absolute best.
Yeah, that might be better next year. I think to your point, right,
It's a-
is that we are working on that plan right now,
Mhm.
right? And we'll have a better map next year.
So maybe this first rendition will just have bus lines, Metroflex, and a link to the new light
And the
rail.
light rail.
And then the bike infrastructure can be coming in 2026.
Yeah, because one of the things we asked when we got the bike and head plan presented to us is what about cul-de-sac connectivity for walking or riding? And I appreciate they didn't have a handle on that, but there's a cul-de-sac right in my neighborhood adjoining another neighborhood that I walk through every day.
That's some of the biggest connectivity issues is that you could actually live an eighth of a mile off of 228, but it takes you a mile and a half to
Yeah.
get around because
Yeah.
there's not the connectivity. And that is part of what that bike and put plan is looking at is
Yeah.
what are existing and potential connections that we could make through so we can have more of that.
For the kids part, I think it'd be cool to include something about the Orca card for parents who still don't know that, right? Like have, kids who don't know that they can, maybe they all know now. Do they all know?
No.
You know what I mean? Like that's a cool
Yeah.
thing to include. I like the bus bingo for fun, although I didn't look at really what it is doing.
yeah.
I'm not sure. And then I suggest coloring the bus. The kids can, if you put a little bus, just if you have room, I don't know. Maybe the kids can color. I have no idea.
But it's glossy.
I
Can
know,
we still
maybe they
color
can't
it?
color on
It's
that.
glossy.
Maybe that's something we can add as a supplemental thing later on, but I think for
Yeah.
the purposes of this one, there are a lot of coloring sheets out there. I think I don't know if it would be the best fit for this guy.
Okay.
I mean, what's the
Yeah.
action that the kids can do?
Yeah, I like your idea. Like, ride the bus 5 times.
Yeah. Or the action, what did this say? The action was
Or
what was it? It was like it was for them to scooter or bike, something like that. Walk instead of riding in the car. So but they could be riding the bus 5 times. That's a good goal.
yeah. We should probably start low, just be like once.
Take the bus to the library.
What exactly is their connections to the light rail beyond the bus?
That's basically what it is. The other thing you could do is take community van, or it's not more convenient at all, but you could theoretically go through Issaquah and get to the Bellevue light rail as well. But it's the wrong direction. It takes longer. So
Yeah.
my main thought is just letting people know that there is a connection in
Yeah.
Spanish to the light rail. And then Swan, did you have anything to add?
This might also be a good spot to include some form of comment about especially if we're going to be encouraging younger people to be, using scooters and bikes, also encouraging safety while doing so. As a starting point, at least helmets, because people should be wearing helmets. I've crashed enough times to know how useful they are. And just because I know that's something that's come up as a topic a lot, just in general, if we are going to be like with encouraging people to use, those other means of transportation, encouraging them to do so safely, might be a good thing to include.
Thank you.
It might just be enough just to say like, remember your helmet. Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Parentheses.
So call out.
that's it.
All suggestions will be taken under consideration, and then you all will have a chance to review and refine for the next draft.
One of the things that you've got on here is map of public EV charging stations,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is a good idea. I got a question for you. What about plug compatibility? Are you able to charge anywhere you want to charge with your Rivian?
No,
No.
I mean, for the most, like the Tesla charger by Safeway, I cannot charge that. But I can charge it at a Tesla charger in Bellevue, because one that like Tesla blocks certain ones down, so we
Okay,
know that. But then also you need an adapter for current EVs to use Tesla, but everything else uses, I think it's like CCSI or something. But within a year, not all, most electric cars will flip to the Tesla
yeah.
experience, and you'll then need an adapter to use all the other ones. So this is early adopter problems with that.
Because that could be an issue with a map of all the EV charging stations.
It would be.
Yeah,
I know we've talked about EV charging in general here. Like I find them to be open all the time around the city, and that's because I'm guessing most people just have the charger at home and don't need to charge when
Yeah.
they're in the city.
This community has the ability to have
Yeah, we have
charging in their single family home, right?
Yeah. So that's an interesting one, but I think it's less hopeful.
What is the supercharger here?
I don't know, you have to touch Tesla.
I don't know. I typically do it. I don't do it home.
Yeah, they won't let
go to
me.
the Pedmare and Issaquah. That's it. They have. So I'm not sure. I did not see anything in Savage.
Oh, where is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's by Tesla.
They have some.
Yeah, there's about 8 or 9 Tesla.
Wow.
An 8 or 9 Tesla charger.
But it's locked down, so it won't
But
work
only
on.
for Tesla.
It's only.
Because they, rightfully so, that's in everything they
Sure.
want, but they lock them down. They only open up so many to non-Teslas.
Okay. Thank you.
I would say it's more likely that we'll have the EV charging stations as a rendition for the 2026 version.
that's
More
probably
accurate,
better.
it's right next to Bob. So.
Go to the next one. Okay, so now we're on number 3, sustainable natural resources. So my thought on this one was like, it's saying a lot of things like plant native species, but my thought is like, for people who want to do that, it's really hard to know where to get them. So
what they are.
What?
Or even what they are. I need to.
But on the very back, there was a
link
to what they are, somewhere. It was in their King County Native Plant Guide, but it's on the back and not in this section. So I think like maybe we need in where it's showing, like, right, we might flip to the
QR
back,
code in
or
there.
we might not. you
Yeah.
know? Or just a link or whatever. A QR code, however you want to do it.
Yeah, that might be a cool place to get some of this, the sustainability certified habitat, like she mentioned, but also the Sammamish stewards as a little quote. Since they know where to get them, I mean, they have them all the time at the different events.
There's one thing missing on here, and that's controlling your weeds.
Yeah, I wrote such as. Well, when it says use natural pests, this one just was too generic for me. It's like, well, people are gonna have a lot of questions about those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I just watched my neighbor's lawn guy across the street spray his gravel with Roundup. So somehow we got to get him to think non-toxic.
Yes.
Christine Swan has their.
Oh, Swan.
I definitely agree having something for pest control, like having information about what is a good natural pest control, in particular for this area, because it can vary a little bit depending on the area, like what sorts of pests. And that, as I was going through, I was thinking that's something that could be particularly difficult to find a good answer for while searching online, because a lot of the answers that are going to come up are going to be whatever pesticides people are trying to market and sell that aren't necessarily what's actually the best for this environment. The two other main notes I had for this section for shrinking your lawn, like what that actually entails for people to do, like what sorts, like a little bit more action that people can take on that, as well as things other than grass that people could encourage to grow for their lawns. Our front lawn is moss, and like we still need to weed whack it. I need to do that when I get back, but like it's much nicer than just having a grass lawn, and it's also better for the environment. There's a lot more animals around. And then the third thing that I had, this is more for trees, but one of the things that I guess has been a barrier from my perspective for even thinking about tree care or planting trees or anything like that is I have no idea what laws or codes exist around tree planting and care. I know that something exists because I know that there's some sorts of code stuff for dealing with trees, but having like a little cutout or blurb like what considerations people do need to take so that they know what they are allowed to do as like a baseline. Like you can plant trees. This is a fine thing to do. You don't need to get a permit for this. Or if you want to,
But you need a permit to cut it. Yeah.
yeah, and like, but like making sure people know like you don't like you need a permit if you want to be cutting things down or all of that, but you don't necessarily. You can plant trees. It's okay to do, and just having a little bit of that sort of simplify it and potentially link like potentially referencing whatever like laws or codes people should look at if they want to know more. But having a little bit of information there could encourage people to do more stuff with trees.
Okay, any other comments or suggestions for this section, and then I'll summarize.
Yeah, I don't have anything new here, but I just want to be sure, like when you, the first one here, volunteer with the city or other local organization, if there's like a link to where we can sign up, because I was in the sign up portal. I don't know if we're talking about that or something else today, because I signed up for this too, Evans Creek. I got the emails about Evans Creek needing more volunteers. I signed up for 2 of them. I don't know if it's that portal or a different one, but some kind of a link here or a QR code where people can know where to go.
So what's the kid-focused action for this? Go tear out the lawn?
Yeah, tear out the ivy.
Yeah, it doesn't work in my household.
I think it's probably plant something.
Yeah,
So-
plant, yeah, get kids to plant.
Yeah.
That's so good for them.
Yeah, my
Planting a
son and I
garden.
planted an oak tree in our backyard, and we like go check on it.
That's wonderful.
We
And
go look at it, be like,
planting.
still there.
You got it.
Still there, and it's growing. So
Yeah.
it's great. He loves it.
Even if it's in a pot in an apartment, you know, you can have plants anywhere. So the planting the seeds, I like the idea of the, you know, I don't know if you're gonna add that, but becoming a, habitat. What is it called?
Wildlife habitat.
Yeah, I
Certified
like that.
wildlife.
I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah.
That's a cool one, creating a little garden, planting a plant.
Yeah.
And then
We did that about 35 years ago.
You did it for your house?
Yeah, well, my son, who is now 40, was 35 then, and he wanted to have our yard be recognized as a wildlife habitat, so we went through the whole process.
That's great.
I don't know if it's any different now than it was last century.
Okay,
On the rest of us?
so what I'm hearing is the suggestions for this one, we'll narrow them down, is having a plant something recommendation, maybe a little diagram of like how deep to dig, or, you know, what plants would be good starter plants. And then the other actions to look at, or just help me prioritize right now, is getting a wildlife habitat certification for your backyard. Something to note there is not everyone has a backyard, but obviously a lot of our residents do have single family homes. So maybe just adding something in there of, oh, if you have a balcony or even kitchen that you can put a little pot. And then the other ones were a native species list, some natural ways to control your weeds. So to reiterate, the 3 that we've got one for the kids to plant something. The 3 that we're trying to narrow down is to get wildlife habitat certified, how to control your weeds naturally, and for the third one, a list of native species or some images, and then a QR code.
I think native species should definitely be on that.
Okay.
My vote.
Yeah, my only thing was what they were saying is, what I wrote down, use natural pest control. I was like, such as, and then shrinking your lawn, what resources are there?
Okay.
So I don't know if that's,
We covered that natural pest control in the climate action plan, I think. I don't remember what we said though.
The climate action plan does have an action around our integrated pest management
Yeah.
policy. it's more of an internal document, but we are trying to educate the community on the same topics that are covered in the policy that we have for our.
So one is pest, another is the weeds. The how you can control the weed.
I would say it's same. Pests and weeds often have similar,
It's all about the use or not use of.
Yeah, so we may not go granular enough to recommend any brand or anything, but we say that, okay, this is natural, no chemicals, something like that. We need to be generic because we cannot, mention a brand or anything in our document.
Yeah, that's correct.
Does the yard certification double as like a resiliency thing?
I would say it could, depending on how we frame it.
Were you talking about wildfires? Or you
Yeah.
talking about something else?
Drought.
Or,
So
Yeah.
the one thing I was also going to remind you all of is one of the priorities that the commission decided to prioritize for this year. One of them was a focus on education around drought tolerant native landscaping.
Yeah.
So this would be a really good opportunity, and we can tie in maybe some natural pest control with drought tolerant native landscaping. Okay, I think I've got good stuff to work with. Similar to transportation, I'm gonna pull a couple of these ideas into one diagram, instructionary visual. Great.
Okay, are we moving on? 4? Are you ready to go on?
I was gonna suggest also, well, maybe it's underwater. One of the things, I'm guilty of having a sprinkler system. I try not to use it very often. But most of the time I'm trying to hand water, which I think I'm putting the water where it's gonna do the most good instead of watering my driveway or the street. So, encouraging people to handle, it's labor intensive.
To be underwater
Yeah,
irrigation.
Well, there's a point here about optimize outdoor water with smart
Yeah.
irrigation.
maybe that was in the water section. Okay,
It's in the water section.
It should be in the water.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a bigger topic because I know. Okay, we'll talk about water.
So the ideas for this one is, we could do, I can't remember where I saw it, but there was a fun like water quality quiz, water safety quiz that I saw from some other organization that we could try to mimic. So more of an interactive kind of challenge yourself. You might think you know the answer to this, but maybe you don't. For example, how much water is wasted when you leave the sink on for 1 minute or 5 minutes? Some kind of educational quiz, things like that.
Take a 10-minute, 15-minute shower. Okay. Shower.
Take a Navy shower.
By hand versus washing dishes in the dishwasher.
The other thing that we had recommended on here is maybe a how-to about rain barrels. I think a lot of people like the idea of rain barrels, but maybe don't understand how they actually work. And that might be kind of a good side visual attractive.
I own 4 rain barrels and I have yet to figure out how to make them work for me.
Okay. Good to know.
So yeah, I would.
How do you own so many of things you don't know how to work?
Don't say it.
My thought again on this one was like upgrade fixtures with water saving alternatives. It's, to me, I wrote from where, or like, to me, it doesn't educate enough. It's like, what?
Yeah, how do I do it?
Yeah, what does that mean? And then shower smarter and shorter, I would add, 5 minutes or less. And then try permeable materials. I don't know, they seem like I know we're cutting down on text, but it's almost like too much. Like, do you mean gravel? Like add a little more maybe? And then I don't know if you want to add anything about, I see people washing their cars at their house. I know it's better to take it to like Brown Bear. I don't know if that's one we want to add.
As long as they use the soap or something like that is biodegradable, they're fine.
Yeah.
But if not, then it is. I think in general it is better to go to car wash because they treat the water before they release the car wash.
Yeah, people just let their soap go down at the sewer where.
Yeah, not only soap, it's like if it is a gas car, it has a lot of oily stuff in it and it comes with the water.
Down.
So it is not only what soap they're using.
Yeah.
is also that agrees on that. So do we, as Sammamish, City of Sammamish, do we use any of the brackish water or any kind of partially treated water? I know that we don't do our own treatment for irrigation for like our park system or whatever the city owned or city maintained.
We do not.
Trust. Is it possible in the future?
So I can jump in on this one because I
Yeah.
know more about water than, so the, I'm not aware of any purple pipe, which is the King County wastewater pipe, which is the reclaimed water in
Yeah.
Sammamish. I'm not aware of any of that here. So previous communities I have been in do have the purple pipe, but we are so far away from
Yeah.
any of the
Treatment.
treatment facilities. They are gonna be doing a big replacement of some pipes down on East Lake Sammamish Parkway in the next decade. They're just starting the planning of that, so we can look and see if there's anything there we could look at, but it's just not a resource.
Yeah,
have
we are
here.
not very close. I have taken a look at it because our treatment plant wise, we probably, our system goes to Brightwater or South treatment.
Or Renton, I don't actually, I know that
It goes to West treatment plant,
part of what they're doing is to better connect us to Brightwater.
Brightwater, yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it is not probably possible for us because we are not close to, otherwise it would have been a wonderful opportunity to, because all this water, irrigation water is such a wastage. And if you can wash the brackish water or some treated,
Yeah.
secondary treated water. But how about the rain pot collection and things like that? As a city, is it possible for a city to do anything?
For like an extra large rain barrel, is that?
Something like that in the city scale?
Like a rain
That's
collection
like
here
rain-
on this building
Yeah, yeah,
type of a
right.
thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
And store that water and then use that.
anything's potentially possible, it's just a money issue, right?
Does the Met Market do that?
I actually don't know.
I think they've got a 1,000,000-gallon vault underneath that parking lot. And they use it to water their roof.
Cool. That was all that graphics on that
Yeah,
thing is up explaining.
yeah.
Right?
Well, and that's
On the
something like
pergola.
Rose was saying earlier when we're looking at the town center and then maybe some of the other centers as they come online over the years is how can we incentivize some of those green?
I think that
you
will
know.
be, yes.
So, and-
Please.
So that is something we're looking at in the future.
Okay. Yeah, I think that will be good because many cities, I know even in Redmond, the Willows Golf Course, all the water, they come from some kind of
Yeah,
reclaimed water.
and the county did, I mean, because I was in Tukwila, and so Tukwila has a purple pipe at Foster Golf Course, right? So the county did expressly put some of those reclaimed water pipe, the purple pipe, at the golf course locations, so.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is folks are interested in a how-to for rain barrels. And folks are interested in potentially some kind of water knowledge quiz challenge.
One thing I'd add on here, you say fix leaks properly. How many of you know how to read your water meter?
See from the.
I don't even know where my water meter is.
I mean, you can go out to the street and find your water meter and dig it up, because it's probably covered with dirt, and look at the gauge, and you won't see a thing. It's blank. Then shine a flashlight.
I know where it is, I think, but I've never looked at it.
Yeah, well, and it's incredibly accurate. But if you got, I don't know if you've gotten them, but I've gotten every once in a while, I've gotten a letter from the water district saying, hey, you're using a lot of water, maybe you have a leak. So it's helped me. I found out that I did have a toilet that was, and then.
Yep, I got that same letter and it was also a toilet.
Mhm.
But that should not leak significant water. Such a small volume.
It will measure a cubic inch of water. That's how accurate your meter is.
So what's the kid's strategy for this one?
Mine was 5 minutes or less shower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Cascade Water Alliance gives out free water shower timers. The other thing they gave out, well, to my class at least, and then the other thing they give at our toilet testers, testing for leaks, where you put the blue dye in the
Mhm.
tank. I don't know if the.
I think the clock sounds good.
Well,
which
or an
one?
exercise.
Shower clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fast,
Timer,
like
yeah.
we have it in our showers.
How about an exercise for
It'll be
the
fast.
older kids to see how much water a dishwasher uses?
Are you requiring math?
Yeah. Is that a bad idea?
Yeah, I thought
Try
dishwasher
it.
is better than washing hand by hand because
Well, that'd be a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
4 gallons for an entire load of
yeah,
your dishwasher versus.
but if you wash it individually, then it will take a lot more water away.
Shower one's good. I like turn off your water while you're washing your hands,
Mhm.
turn off the water while you're brushing your teeth.
Mhm.
I know my kids are terrible at those things. I don't know if I could convince them
It's
to
a
take
strategy.
5-minute showers. That
It's
would be-
fun, it's like a challenge, you gotta set a timer, go.
What
I don't know
about,
if I could take 5-minute
how
showers.
about a Navy shower?
What is name?
Turn it on, get yourself wet, turn it off. Soap up, turn it on, rinse off.
Yeah, I haven't done that since Afghanistan. I'm not doing it again. They're not fun. They're freezing.
Yeah, the water will be getting cold again, so.
Well, once you turn it off, yeah, you're gonna get cold.
You get cold real fast.
Then your shower will be faster.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
then you take as much time as
Right.
you want, because
Well,
you're not running the water, right? Your shower is like
Actually,
1 minute.
it may not be efficient, then you will be waiting for the hot water then again. So you are
Oh.
losing your cold water a couple of times.
Mhm.
I have people, they are collecting the cold water and using it in the garden.
Mhm.
Because let's say first 2 minutes, or
Mhm.
1 minute, whatever the time that it
That's
takes
good.
That's a good idea.
The
Yeah,
bucket.
they use it put it in a bucket and use it in the garden.
Mhm. Are we ready to go to 5?
We are, unless there was anything else for this one, I think. Last
I like
section,
the idea of a rain garden. I'd like somebody to tell me how to do it.
rain garden, okay,
Yeah.
I'll put that as maybe a backup.
Okay.
Just maybe for next year, since we'll already have kind of a diagram on natural resources, it might be confusing. Okay, moving on to waste.
I personally really like the supplemental content of what goes where, because at school, if the kids put in the wrong thing, all of it goes in the trash.
Yeah, so do I.
They do not know where it goes, and it is
Seeing good graphics.
Yes.
very frustrating.
Good
Can't say it enough.
Yeah.
Almost maybe something that could be pulled out and stuck next.
There
to
is
it.
on the garbage.
Exactly, that was because I have been
Great
doing it
idea.
in community centers, like say if we do dinner for 500 people, or 300 people, like for a month or something like that, we do that. And teaching them, it was very difficult, but if you just stick those, like say this plate, this fork, this cup,
Mhm.
you just stick it in the wall next to that.
Mhm.
That makes a big difference.
Mhm.
No matter how many pictures I put, no matter how many instructions, but if you
Show
stick
the
that
actual.
visual,
Mhm.
it works.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good suggestion.
I think a session came from.
Like all of you constantly pulling out whatever the kids put in, that's not recyclable and
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm still working in my home.
Yes.
So
But it's
relatively older
plastic.
kids, still I see misplaced thing.
And sometimes people aren't even sure what goes in and it's collected by our particular republic. Right, so it's neat to remind people what republic.
Yeah.
Wants. Oh, Swan.
Just adding on to that, one thing in particular, which types of plastics can be recycled and which ones can't? Because
Yeah,
that's something
numbers.
that's something I have to double check because what was that?
There's numbers on the plastic.
There are numbers.
Yeah.
Right, but I have to look those up
You
every
can do
single
up
time.
to 5 or
And-
6.
And so having like a quick reference for those, like these types of these numbers can be recycled regularly. These numbers can be need like a special recycling. These numbers, you can't recycle them. They're just garbage. Having a quick reference for that would be really helpful because I have to look that up every single time.
No, thank you.
Totally.
Yep.
And if it needs to be washed really well, like there's always people who don't wash it well, and then some say you don't need to, some say you have to, so it'd be nice to have a reminder.
Great.
And
Yeah,
and the multi-layer plastics, especially if they've been aluminized, like chip bags, generally are not recycled. But Ridwell,
Except if you ever will. Yep.
Yeah, there are recycled symbol like a number with most of the packaging. So there is, some certain city or certain limits that their recycle facility will take up to 5, 6, or 7 number you need to recycle.
So, I mean, like I mentioned it before, but like here we talk about, think before you buy less or reuse. I don't know where it goes under, but, I don't know if we can say anything about the buy nothing or the gifting groups.
That's.
I mean, I'm on them on Facebook. I don't know, we probably can't put any links, but we just, I don't know how we can include that topic.
we'll put a plug for,
I think there's ways to put generic, like look in your, neighborhood or the broader community for opportunities, so.
Yeah, gifting groups or something like that. And then there's repair events, but there's no like always there repair cafes, right?
not
there-
in
And
Sammamish,
there's no like tool libraries either.
not in Sammamish or Issaquah.
Okay.
I will add a yet to that because I was with the Issaquah sustainability team about a month ago and we checked out the Shoreline tool library and they were really, really excited about that. And it's not on our work plan currently, it's not on their work plan currently, but something that Issaquah might be looking into in the next couple of years that we might be able to partner with them on. But ultimately it would likely be led by City of Issaquah because they have more facilities that would be a potential fit for that and more staff that could help.
Okay.
It's not something that would be feasible for us in the near
Right.
term. So it would probably be something we would send Sammamish residents to the Issaquah tool library.
Okay, so for now, it's just the recycling events, right? Or the repair, there's repair.
There's a
events.
repair event and we're gonna
Okay.
try to keep that
That's a
going.
one-off, so.
Okay.
Couldn't be it.
So what is the repair event?
King County offers community repair events across the county, different cities, community groups. It's basically an opportunity for residents or community members to come to the repair event and they have a team of skilled volunteer fixers who will try to fix whatever is broken.
Or
So
what are those
um,
things?
smaller appliances, so not necessarily thinking cell phone, but thinking maybe you have a sewing machine or a tea kettle or something like that that needs fixing. Or they will repair, they'll repair like small household items like shoes, if you have a small rip. They won't do tailoring, but they will help you try to make your
Okay.
items last longer. So there's one on August 2nd at the Sammamish Library, YMCA. It's on the website.
Thank you.
Okay, I do think that what goes where page will likely be a full page. I think we can maybe do a couple plugs for, hey kids, make sure your parents are cleaning and drying their recycling, something like that. But I like the idea of having it potentially be removable. So that will likely be the last page of the guide, which works out well. So you can have the additional resources on the back of that recycling page. And that brings us to the end, folks. Same as the introduction, please provide feedback on the conclusion on the SharePoint document that I will be sending a link out to. The only other thing I know, go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, so some of us said, yeah, we'll give quotes that pertain to the different sections, but what we talked about in an earlier meeting, also like schools or businesses, I don't know if we have any kind of like great stories like that we could use, or are we just gonna stick to any of our kind of quotes, you know what I mean? Or just save the stories then for social media. So that's also possible, but it's like, it's sort of a bigger scale story of a business or something. But you only have space for quotes, right? Really, so that's.
Yeah, I think maybe that's something to look at in 2026. I would say the Sammamish Stewards Group would be a good opportunity to get an actual additional quote, and then maybe the sustainability ambassadors students would be a good opportunity, or maybe a youth board you know, the Sammamish Youth Board endorses XYZ, the Sammamish Youth Board wants you to do this. So we'll see where we can weave that in. But that does bring me to my last question here as the optional add-ons on the very first page of this document. I think we will, by adding in the quotes for each of you, that kind of captures what we're trying to get at with the letter. So I would look to you all. Do you want a supplemental letter coming collectively from? Okay.
It will be another text, so I think the quotes are good. It will be more interesting as opposed to reading a letter, to my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. This is just open discussion for what folks think.
I think for space, it's probably not gonna happen, especially if the recycle thing is the tear off that, you know, that it's not gonna have that activity for the kid, but I think that what we can do is create a link that is a place where, okay, show your how you did your 5 strategy. We'll have to think about this a little bit, how that works, right? But show how that you did your 5 strategies to be that interactive thing that you were looking for, Christy, which I think is a good idea, and then try to figure out how we can then showcase those as the city, right? So I'm not the fun department. We will work with our fun
Could it
department.
even be, I mean, just to give an example, like, could it even be, they're one sentence things? Like a little megaphone, kids, be a, you
Yeah.
know, take a 5-minute shower.
Right,
You
right.
know, like
Right.
I'm already putting on a lot of stuff, so it may not work. But
But
I'm
then-
thinking, that's what I'm thinking, it doesn't have to be a big thing, it could be like one statement.
Right. But then how do they tell us that they did
Do
those
they
things?
have, they don't have to tell us.
But they might like to, right? Cause they like
I
to,
love social media.
they love that. kind
Maybe
of
we can
thing,
make a
so-
TikTok feed.
Uh,
Really, it will go.
I agree, yeah, I'm with Rose on that one.
Sorry. I think we don't have
There's a way we can collect that like energy, so we'll think about it a little bit, so it may or may not work, but.
Could even be like a one-time reel or like
Yeah.
something on the city website.
We'll figure it out.
That's fun.
Do we have a Facebook group in the city?
The city has a Facebook page that you can follow, yes, yeah. We post most regularly on Facebook, Instagram, and then on Nextdoor are the 3.
Next door.
Well, thank you all so much. Again, we're opening this for review, comments, feedback through July 16th at 4 p.m. I will send a reminder next week and I will try to get that link to the SharePoint up and going tomorrow morning. So you have the full weekend and Friday afternoon. I don't know if this is how you want to spend your Friday afternoon, but if you would like to, I'll try to have that out for you all tomorrow morning, midday, if I can figure out the technology.
No, are we done with that?
Yes, unless there's
Don't be
any
packing up yet.
last minute
We still
feedback
have
on
more.
this.
So,
Good. Okay, thank you all.
Okay, are we good? Can I go on?
Yes.
Okay, so next we are planning for the farmer's market on August 6th from 4 to 8, which I will not be at, it's not far away, but. So if you got in the agenda she had sent out. She had some ideas, so it's a sustainability market. So it's on page 15 if you printed out all this stuff. So August 6th from 4 to 8, Sammamish City Hall, Sustainable Sammamish. It's a yearly event at the Sammamish Farmers Market. Great fun, interactive event for residents to learn new and different ways of, it almost sounds kind of like Earth Day.
Yeah.
And so she has activities listed and who's gonna be there and who might be there. And so activities, number 1 was waste sorting with sustainability ambassadors and youth board. And number 2, activity educational focus area led by the commission. And are we talking now about what activity educational focus? And are you thinking it's not the spinner?
So
Spinner will be there.
Steve is working on a sustainability wheel. Steve, do you mind if I screen share? And show everything
Yeah,
we're working on?
let's see it.
Okay.
New one?
Yeah, that, I thought of, a theme would be, it's a reuse theme. The base is a chunk of a, are you gonna show it?
Is it?
Of a cottonwood.
Oh my
that-
gosh, looking good.
Well, that's the wheel. Look at the, so This is the base, this is the piece of cottonwood. And the thing, that round thing is gone. I got rid of that. It was warped. It's not gonna work. But the post is a poor little old cedar sapling that was in the way of a Douglas fir that fell over. So it got crunched.
So you have to make a new circle?
I'm gonna do a new one, yeah.
Okay, and does it spin?
It'll spin.
Nice.
Of course.
It's important. I was thinking that.
Is that a gas water heater right there?
Yes,
So
but it's getting old.
It is, yeah.
So Steve is working on the wonderful new sustainability wheel that we will no longer have to share with the community development department.
Yay.
And it's gonna have 16 sections on the front,
Great.
so.
As long as you think the text will be big enough, that works for me.
Yeah, well, the wheel will be about 2 feet in diameter, which is pretty much the size of the previous one. It had 14 sections.
Mhm.
And 14 doesn't go into 360 degrees right, but 16 does.
Perfect. Well, thank you for doing that, Steve. We're looking forward to having that done for the Sustainable Sammamish Market. That'll be where it makes its big debut. The three kind of general categories of activity that I would recommend the commission focus on, that you all helped me prioritize at the beginning of the year, is native plants and drought resistant, drought tolerant landscape design. There was a really cool, I think it was an Earth Day last year, demonstration that one of our vendors, or maybe it was even communities or city staff did, was erosion demonstration. So when you have 2 bins and then you have some plants with soil and you pour water and you see how much soil runs off, and you have one that does not have plants that have good root systems and you see all of the soil just run off right away. So something like that. Or it could be like a diagram of a rain garden that you have to identify which part is which. So something about native plants and drought tolerance, something about heat pumps, or something about weatherization. Those are kind of the 3 categories that I feel like we've talked about a lot that could be a good interactive opportunity. Any initial thoughts or inspiration jogged from drought tolerant landscaping, heat pumps, or weatherization?
Do we need to choose one or?
I would like to have some recommendations so that I can circle back and work on this. Would be helpful.
I like the heat pump interactive, obviously.
What would that be? What is that?
So what I've done in the past when tabling specifically for Energy Smart East Side is print out large heat pump diagrams. It's not like the most fun activity, so that's something to think about. Is either how we can make it more fun, or challenging for folks, whether that's like a pin the tail on the donkey type situation, something like that with heat pumps. Like where the heat goes in, where the heat goes out, and you kind of pin that on. But I was thinking something with a heat pump diagram. And then for weatherization, it would be like, you could practice adding a little thing. I could bring some caulk or sealant or something like that. So a little bit more hands-on. But if you all have suggestions, I would love to hear them because I do outreach. I do a lot of this education, but I'm curious what the community might like, what you all would feel comfortable engaging with folks on. Could be some kind of little scavenger hunt around the market or around City Hall. Could be identifying different energy efficient like technology. So maybe you have a picture of a heat pump, you have a picture of a water heater, you have a picture of solar panels, and you have people identify which one is which.
Do you have example of a drought resistant landscape?
So my thought with that was, I guess it was opposite, was the runoff example that I had just mentioned. But no, I mean, we could create a mini drought tolerant, like we could create a
that
couple
will be
species.
something that everybody can, with due respect to Steve and the heat pump, that is very important. But again, something that every resident can do a little bit of the landscaping, or the if there is a drought resistant or there is landscaping wise or typical plant we can do and things like that. We may not plant 10 of those right now. Maybe you start with 1. So everybody can do something immediately if we give them the vision. that how to do a, drought resistant landscaping or plants. So I think if you share the education material or anything, any form, if you can communicate that, I think that will be probably value added.
Okay.
For the scavenger hunt idea, kind of on top of that, like, what is actually planted out here? Do we know? Is
Planted?
any, because farmer's market happens just on its own wall, right?
Yeah.
So like, I don't know what these trees are. I don't know what else is out there. I'm not really paying attention.
Yeah.
But like, can we do a do we know, does anybody know what's out there? Can we build a scavenger hunt around?
Off the top of my head, but I
Well,
can definitely find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe there are drought resistant things out there already,
Yeah.
or native, whatever. I don't like, I hope someone puts some thought into that.
I want to get Swan a second.
Yeah, it's 1 week as well.
I do like that idea. Adding on to that, for just as another potential activity related to native plants is if we could provide seeds, or whether that's people like, here's how you actually plant something, like here's how you put it into, like here's how you dig out, here's how you put it into the soil, here's how you water it. And if we could have seeds for people to take home with them, but if not, even just like here's how you do it, that could be a fun little activity. Kids get to stick their hands in dirt, which is always fun. And knowing a little bit more about planting could be like a good activity for people to engage with.
Thank you, Swan. That's a good
Yeah.
suggestion.
Is there money for soil and compostable pots, or is there money to do that?
I will have to look. I think that we might actually have a bunch of extra trees. Well, they're not trees, but a bunch of extra seed tree planting kits from Earth Day.
Oh,
They may have already handed all of them out, but if not, it's something that we definitely could do again. They were basically handing out little compostable pods. It came with the seed, it came with instructions, it was in a little recyclable compostable cardboard box. So,
Might be a challenging time of year
That's
yeah,
for
August.
planting
seeds
stuff.
and stuff like that. So,
That's a good point. If it were like 1 month later, it would be better.
just,
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I hear scavenger hunt about plants around City Hall and drought tolerance. Maybe we could even include, I know we have some kind of rain garden infrastructure a little bit further down.
Kind of like YMCA, right? They
Yeah.
have like a green roof
Mhm.
somewhere, I think, maybe.
Yeah. So I think that could be a really good
Just
one. Can you
include that.
spot the green roof?
Prove that, please.
And then a planting demonstration, and then the other one was if we can come up with a drought tolerant other demonstration rather than scavenger hunt.
Yeah. And to Steve's point of what is a rain garden? I don't know if we can make a mini version of one, so people can get an idea what it looks like. I've read about them also because I've often wondered, I think it's basically just like a dip in your yard, I think. And that's where the water collects, and you plant things there, or whatever, I don't know, but we could be like, here's a tiny version of a rain garden, look how.
Mini rain garden. I can see about putting something together. It might not be quite that small. It might be taking up most of the table.
That's fine, yeah, whatever it looks like, but that's what I envision them when I read about them, but I don't know either, like.
With wetland plants in this kind of marshy ditch that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. I do have some plants at home that I could donate to this cause.
some.
Well, the house plants
Not
are
what I
the
wrote.
rain garden plants. Yes. Do folks have really strong feelings between a scavenger hunt versus some kind of hands-on planting activity? I can see about maybe putting together both. So we have something to hand them to go do around the market because it's not going to be as hands-on for a scavenger hunt. And then I think the scavenger hunt is a for sure. Yes, I can make that happen. The demonstration rain garden is going to be a if I can make it happen. How does that sound to folks?
I like a scavenger hunt because it kind of, it doesn't ignore the market. It sort of incorporates, people are gonna be walking around the market anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course we'll have the wheel and some of our normal handout informational
Yeah, but
things.
what should they do, like when they're done with scavenger hunt, and then is it like they come back with their completed sheet and then they get a
Get a
star
lollipop or something.
get a, yeah, I mean, cause they have to
Okay.
have an incentive at the end, no?
Okay.
I mean, you don't want them to get lost, you want them to come back, right? You want them to do the whole thing.
And do we think it would be better to have some kind of little treat consumable or more wildflower seeds. Which is always, you know, a good fun giveaway item, but
If you're gonna give away wildflower seeds, I would recommend you get nasturtiums.
yeah.
They're dirt simple to grow,
Yeah, exactly.
pardon the pun.
No way.
They're
They're
dirt simple
easy.
to grow.
No. Wait, what? That I heard. but
Nasturtiums,
I don't know.
and they look
Okay.
nice, and they're edible.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see what extra giveaway things that we have lying around from summer event season. And if not, we will see what we can get for the market.
Okay.
Just an FYI, kids will do anything for even a stamp. It doesn't have to be a consumable
even a
plastic.
stamp.
I do have
A
hand
cute-
stamps,
a
yeah.
cute, or on their little scavenger hunt, like they love a cute little stamp. It's amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah, you just have to gamify it enough.
Yeah,
Cause it is weird, it also, or the seeds are a good idea, but like the plastic on a lollipop or something kind of defeats the purpose of our mission, right?
that's true.
Do we have a stamp?
I have hand stamps. Yeah, I've got a bunch of different hand stamps. They're just it's like they're from the block party a
That's
year or
fun.
two ago. They're little like acorns or squirrels or they're
That's
little
cute.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be good.
And I could give each of you one too. You could each have your own hand stamp.
I'm not much of a stamps for sorry.
It'd be for you to stamp other people. Okay, well, thank you all very much. Oh, Swan, I see you have your hand raised.
I just wanted to offer, if you want, like for laying out the scavenger hunt, I've done a couple things like that before. So like if you're for figuring out like where to actually put things across the farmers market, I could potentially help with like choosing where things go, like the different points of interest around.
Great, yeah, I will reach out if I have specific needs or want to collaborate. That sounds
Yeah.
great.
Excellent.
Yeah, thank you, Swan. All right, everyone. Well, we got through the agenda. I wanted to give a brief moment just to highlight under the commissioner and staff report section all of our upcoming events. Lots of good stuff. We've got a mini recycling event this weekend. The bike and pedestrian plan workshop is next week. So I know some of you attended the first one. I just wanted to give a shout out for the next one. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your HOAs, anyone who may have asked about this previously. This is a good opportunity to come and learn more. There is an online heat pump workshop as part of Pacific Northwest Climate Week at City of Bellevue on July 17th. And then we've got our upcoming farmers markets as well as the curriculum design lab on July 31st. And the community repair event on August 2nd. Brooke and Christy are also going to be presenting to the Quahani HOA, likely this month. So we'll have a report back out on that in September because there's not an August meeting. So you can kind of tell folks how that went. I'll just be a wallflower for that. So really looking forward to hearing, and we'll work together on the PowerPoint, set up a meeting next week. And then hopefully that will kind of set the stage for all of you to start presenting to the community as you feel comfortable. Okay.
This online heat pump workshop, you have to sign up for that?
They would prefer if you do register online. The online one, then you can get your Zoom link. I don't think the Zoom link is publicly available. I know for the in-person events, you don't have to register, but I believe they do want you to for that one.
So where can you go to get the link? Or
Oh, I can send that out to you, but all of the heat pump events are on the Energy Smart East Side website.
okay,
Yeah, so that it has all of the city's workshops, including this one.
okay.
And no meeting in August, just that, do we know who signed up to do the Earth Day? I mean, not the Earth Day, the Sustainability Farmers Market?
I don't have the list on the top of my
You
head,
guys signed
but I have, yeah, I don't think the Galaxy sign up sheet has been really working for folks, but I know Steve will be there. We will have a bunch of sustainability ambassadors, potentially youth board members. So we'd love to have you all there. We do already have some volunteers signed up outside of the commission. So Yeah, is there a quick show of hands, folks planning to attend?
Traveling.
Traveling,
I'll be gone.
Vacation.
August sixth.
I could still go to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I might.
I'll reach out.
I-
You are?
I might, because it's my birthday that day, so
You?
I might, my parents might take me somewhere on that day, so.
Take you to the Sustainable Sammamish.
I'll be there.
Okay, great. Well, that's 2, maybe 3. That'll be great.
And then
Might
next
be there
week's
as well,
on-
not sure.
Yeah, we got one next Wednesday.
It is not next Wednesday. It is the Wednesday after.
August 6th, no.
It is July 23rd is our next farmer's market.
Oh, okay.
If you come next Wednesday, you can come for the bike and pedestrian workshop that will be happening.
Just as good.
Oh, yeah, okay, I had. All right. The wheel will be there.
Find the
Wheel.
stick.
You gotta
Okay.
bring the questions up. Well, I'll tell you what, when I get it done, I should probably get it to you because you're gonna have to paste those questions. Okay. We can do
Are
that.
you gonna paint it too?
Well, the base and the post are gonna be varnished. The wheel will be painted.
Nice.
So if you've got any, the wheel we get from the community development people, it's got wedges that are different colors.
Mhm.
So if you want that. Or I can just paint white.
I don't have a strong preference.
Okay.
I don't know if other folks do, but
All right.
blue and green are the city's colors of our logo. So when in doubt, maybe just go with those, but white is completely fine.
Oh, that's a city's color. Okay.
I can send you the city logo if you want to base it loosely off of that.
No, can you send me the RGB?
I can, yeah.
Then you get
You
it.
don't,
Yeah.
please don't feel like you have to get it absolutely perfect though, Steve. You can even just give us the plain wood wheel, we'd be happy.
Send him the whole style guide.
Perfecting the font too, if you want.
Oh, copy machines that do a fine job of that.
Okay, well, we just need a motion to adjourn, and unless there was anything else folks had, we will see you back in September, if not at some of our upcoming events.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion passed.
And the motion, what is it? All right, put it in. Okay, now we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Swan. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad I could join
Nice to have
in.
you here. We'll see you in person.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.